What book should I write? Once a coworker wanted to write a book and asked me some questions. He asked, "Hey, I am thinking of writing a book. What book should I write? Tell me a topic that will sell well." My answer was, "Advanced nuclear physics is quite popular." He replied, "Stop kidding. I don't know anything about advanced nuclear physics. What book should I write? Tell me a topic that will sell well." I suggested, "How about vampire adventures on Saturn?" He again replied, "No, not possible. I am not good at such stories. Tell me other popular books that will have good sales." I suggested, "How about X, Y, and Z type of books?" Again he said, not possible." After a few more jokes and his rejections, I told him an author cannot simply write books on any genre just because he or she saw that category sells well. This is a mistake many writers do. Too many budding writers think they should write books on genres that are popular with a high probability of good sales. But this is not possible. Unless you are secretly plagiarizing some other famous author's book, the harsh answer is you simply cannot write a book on any subject just because that is a popular genre. So, what books can an aspiring writer write? For this, you must first decide whether you are going to write fiction or non-fiction. Let us assume that you want to write non-fiction. Now, which non-fiction book can you write? The obvious answer is you must have some experience in that subject. For example, if you are an expert in physics, then it will be easy for you to write a book on physics. But that experience is of no use if you attempt to write a book on molecular biology. So, before attempting to write a non-fiction book, you should ask yourself some hard questions like, for which topic do I have sufficient experience to write a 100-page book? If there are already dozens of good books on that topic, how will my book be different from the crowd? Next, to which reader level should I write? For example, if you have only a diploma or high school knowledge of physics, then you cannot attempt to write an advanced physics book that may be reviewed and scrutinized by PhDs in physics. Only after asking a bunch of such questions, you should start writing your book and not simply dive in to write a non-fiction book that will cater to everyone. Now let us talk about fiction. When it comes to fiction, there are dozens of topics to choose from, like romance, thriller, fantasy, ghosts, children, mystery, and so on. Ask, for which topic will your imagination be useful? What is the story and plot? Can you write 100+ pages of exciting content on that story? Does that story make sense when viewed from various angles? For example, you cannot write a 1950s mystery thriller and have the detective operating a smartphone or watching an LED TV. So, ask several questions like this before starting your book. Remember, some story topics will be suitable only for a dozen pages and not for a full-length book. It can be very frustrating if you cannot imagine content that can fill the remaining pages. Secondly, you should not fill in fluff and unwanted information just to make the book thick. Readers are smart and will recognize if authors attempt this trick. So, they may write nasty reviews that can nosedive your future sales. Now I will give some important advice. What not to write. In your excitement to become famous quickly, you may get ideas to write crazy or dangerous books. But avoid all such temptations, as they can get you and your family members into trouble. What not to write is even more important than what to write. Often in your enthusiasm, words and sentences can flow like a mad river, and you may write something horrible that you momentarily think is funny or harmless. But it could be laced with trouble when reviewed carefully. So, take care to frequently pause your writing to view it from different angles and from the reader's perspective. Remember, freedom of expression is not absolute, and you will never know how readers will respond to your writings. People are subjective creatures and not objective ones. You cannot always call a spade and get away with it. Also, never write books that promote or glamorize racism, pervert behaviors, hate-related, pornography, drugs, religiously explosive stuff, vulgarity, etc. Such books are only for shady authors. Don't listen to idealists. Many idealistic readers, writers, TV studio heroes, and the clueless media often argue that authors must have the complete creative freedom to write whatever they want, or that the pen is mightier than the sword, etc. But we don't live in an ideal world, and in reality, the sword can cut off the hand that wields the pen. Remember what happened to Salman Rushdie, who had to go into hiding for several years because of a death threat to him for his Satanic Verses book. Similarly, many authors worldwide have been beaten, attacked, banned, deported, and even killed for writing nasty books. Also, be careful about writing humor, as it can backfire badly if you don't know certain rules. Don't make fun of religion, caste, race, physical disabilities, gender, or language of anyone. Humor in these areas can start riots on the streets or even start a war. Also, don't use real names of people, friends, relatives, co-workers, etc. You will never know how they may get offended. For example, imagine writing a book on your cranky neighbor or colleague and filling it with embarrassing facts or fiction without his permission. So, if you like to write humor, the best way is always self-directed. That is, point the humor toward yourself. That way you will not annoy anyone. Remember, people will laugh heartily if you make fun of yourself, but they may be outraged if you make fun of them. To summarize the story, writing a book is not simply choosing some genre that is popular. Nor should you write books that can put you or your family members in danger. You have to be careful in choosing the subject and ask yourself a bunch of questions before starting the book. Only after you have answered those questions you should start writing the book. Finally, we can end this video with a quote by William Faulkner, who said, "Read, read, read. Read everything, trash, classics, good and bad, and see how they do it. Just like a carpenter who works as an apprentice and studies the master. Read, you'll absorb it. Then write. If it's good, you'll find out. If it's not, throw it out of the window."